Hello, hello. I am so excited. I'm going live with Zoe Dane is going to be on here shortly, and we're going to talk about light and dark feminine energy, what that is, what the differences are between the two, and why it's important to balance both, and also the benefits for being able to tap into these. So I'm gonna have her pop on. Let me see. Okay. Awesome. So she's here. So go ahead and request to be on, I think, and then I will add her on. And feel free to ask any questions below, and then we will answer them at the end. We're going to be talking about our light and dark feminine activation workshop that will be coming June 8th in Venice. So really awesome. And I'm going to have, first of all, Zoe, intimacy coach, and I used to be a marketing coach majority of the time, and I've really dove into my passion and purpose. There she is. Yay.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So go ahead and introduce yourself quickly, and then we'll kind of dive into it.
Hello, everybody. So excited to be here and to dive into these super juicy topics with my girl, Tia. I'm Zoe Dane. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, divine feminine mentor, and devotional union guide. And I'm super passionate about the restoration of the divine feminine and of true devotional union on our planet.
I love that so much. And we met in an in-person event, and then we just have similar passions and purposes. And we put this event together to like harness both of our awesomeness.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Tia actually reached out to me recently. I think I was doing Tia's splits class. If anybody wants to learn how to do the splits, I highly recommend signing up for her series. And on my last day, she was like, I had a vision of us doing this workshop together. Like let's join forces and help women tap into their light and dark feminine. So I think, Tia, it would be really cool for us to talk about, what is the light feminine, what is feminine, and how do why are these energetics important for women to be aware of?
Yeah. First of all, I'm gonna say I kind of tap into the dark feminine naturally, and I've been really learning how to tap more into my light feminine and to balance the two and kind of have that yin and yang back and forth. Which one do you kind of naturally go towards?
So I was reflecting on this, and I would say that my blueprint naturally is definitely more connected to the dark feminine, and I'll explain what it means in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But as a teenager, I was really tapped into the dark feminine in a way that was it was very destructive. So that's the thing about both of these energetics, is they both have a light and a dark side to them. So when I was younger and I was a teenager, the way that my dark feminine would come out, right, was using sex for validation, numbing myself with substances every weekend, right? My goal was to black out. And there was this insatiable appetite for debauchery and like wild experiences that weren't actually safe for me. I was using my femininity as a weapon rather than understanding how to wield my femininity from an integrous, embodied space. And that had me swing all the way over to the light inside, which was, going into being a devotee of Kundalini yoga and going vegetarian and like kind of stripping myself of my sins in my past and clearing my field of everybody that I so that I could purify. And so that is the important piece of the light feminine, is she is the energy of purification and of coming into this more, like lighthearted, playful expression of femininity that is accessed when we feel safe to connect to our innocence again.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time the wounded, I'll just finish really quickly, but with the dark feminine, the wounded dark feminine energy, when women are operating from that, it's because we need to protect ourselves. It doesn't feel safe to fully drop into our innocence and be playful and flirty from a lighthearted, loving space, right? We're still protecting ourselves in some way. If that makes sense.
Yes, so true. So I love that you started with yours because mine was kind of the opposite. So, and I'd love to hear anybody tuning in, like, which one do you tend to go through or connect to more now, or which one do you struggle with? And we'll kind of go over what the differences are. But I was more in the light feminine as a teenager and as a kid. I was fun and naive and playful and very like didn't have as strong of boundaries. I would just give, and I kind of was picked on a little bit. And so over the years, that kind of hardened me because I didn't feel safe. So then I turned to more of the dark feminine, where it was like setting boundaries, being a little like snappier, and like protecting myself because of the hurt and pain that I had before. So that's kind of where we're talking about the wounded and the divine feminine and how those two differences go together. So, like, dark feminine is okay. One thing is there's a lot of things going on in the reels and Instagram and TikTok of like dark feminine, and it's being like manipulative and controlling and like how to get a man to do things for you or manipulate him in these like not great ethical ways. And so dark feminine on the other side is more setting boundaries, being secure with yourself, feeling powerful and confident in yourself and able to step up. So that's kind of like just a little clip it on that. And I really don't like some of those courses that are teaching women to be manipulative.
No, I mean, that in and of itself, that is the shadow side
Yes.
of dark feminine. Like anytime you are manipulating, you are manipulating through your femininity. That's the dark side, the shadow side of the dark feminine. Just like you said, the empowered side of dark femininity is unapologetic ownership of self, being able to set boundaries to protect the truth of your heart and just to hold your standards, right? Especially with men, to not use this in a way to cord with men, but to use it in a way to maintain the energetic integrity of your own field as a woman, you know?
Mhm.
And something that just came through when you were talking is like, if we look at light and dark femininity, I see light femininity as like Libra energy or maybe like Pisces, and dark feminine is more like scorpionic, right? She's not afraid to go to the depths of the underworld to understand her own psyche, her own eroticism, right? And then from that space, she's in full ownership of it. And then the artistry of her eroticism, of her expression, of her fierceness can come through in a way that feels embodied and integrous, right? And then for the light feminine, it's like, yeah, it's knowing when to tap into these energies, because that light feminine energy of playfulness and flirtatiousness from the heart, right, versus the sacral. I feel like dark feminine can be very like, she can flirt from her sacral with light and with men. And then the light feminine flirts from the heart. She's like in this like purity, in this like love, in this like bubbly, infectious radiance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the light feminine often can, when you're in kind of, okay, what would you call it? Like the dark side, not the dark side of light feminine, the
That
overgiver, the people pleaser. Like when you're like very nurturing, loving, it's like the mom, the mother energy. But it can often, if you're too on the light feminine energy, then you tend to not stand up for your boundaries. You tend to overgive, and then that leads to resentment. So that's why we're doing this workshop to help you balance and harness both of them in the positive and create this dance of back and forth where like even working with you, we have our like feminine and we go back and forth, and then we also have our like, okay, let's do this, and standing up for what our needs are, our boundaries. Like this is in all relationships, friendships, partnerships, relationships. and balancing both is super important.
Yes. Yeah, it's the dance of polarity. And just like we talk so much about masculine and feminine energy, we as women, you know, we have masculine and feminine within us. And then we also have the light and the dark sides of the feminine. And it's like, okay, if we're just like you said, we're going too far to one side, we're becoming a doormat, we're people pleasing to the point of resentment, right? We are not standing up for ourselves. How can we start to connect more with that, you know, fierce side of ourselves that is ultimately like a protectress of the sanctuary that is us, and then like, you know, enforce whatever is needed, whether that be boundaries or like an important conversation or, you know, whatever it is. So
So I'd love to hear, and this is for anybody who listens to this later too, like which one do you tend to be more comfortable in? Is it your light or your dark feminine? Is it, or do you really connect to being that people pleaser or not connect? Are you often that people pleaser or overgiver? Is it hard for you to stand up for your boundaries and stay with them instead of like stepping back, standing down? Which one are you wanting to tap more into? Also, the dark feminine can be like that sexy side where like the light feminine is more playful. I like this example of Gossip Girl, the first one, where Blair is the wait, it's Blair, and what's the other one? The blonde one is
Serena.
Serena. Okay, so Serena's like the playful fun, but then sometimes like she gets stepped on, or Blair's a little bit like feisty with her, and Blair on her dark side, and she gets a little bit manipulative, but she can stand her ground and she knows what she's doing, and she's like very confident. So that's kind of like a really good depiction of the light and dark feminine, and it's really fun.
I love that you just made a Gossip Girl reference. That's funny. Serena was my favorite.
Yeah, Serena was my favorite too because Blair was a little bit more like manipulative and kind of like a brat in some ways, and I definitely aligned more with Blair. Or sorry, Serena. Like she was my favorite. I also read the book, so like
Oh,
I loved it. Yeah.
yeah, I love this. You know, it's just exploring the range of femininity, and you know, these are just like the opposite extreme spectrums of it. And we're excited because we're hosting a workshop, a play shop on Saturday, June 8th in Venice, and we will be diving into light and dark feminine. So we're going to start in the light feminine, and Tia and I are going to be explaining a little bit more about these energetics in depth. And then we will be taking turns leading you on a journey
Hmm.
from the light into the dark to have this full integrated experience of the full spectrum.
Yes. So let us know if you're interested. Drop a black or white heart below. I'd love to see like which one are you more excited to tap into. Often women that feel like that fun and playful side, they really want to tap into that sexual energy, that seductress energy. We're going to be playing around with that. We're also going to be dancing, a little bit of twerking. So there's going to be some fun parts. Also diving into like boundary setting, which a lot of my clients are getting used to, sticking to their boundaries and communicating them, sharing their nose in something that they can embody. So there's going to be a lot of things. More info is also in our bio, but feel free to ask us any questions. Our DMs are open for questions. And yeah, is there anything else that you want to share?
Um, yeah, I mean, in the workshop, we're going to be going into sensuality, right? There's a very big difference between sensuality and sexuality, where sensuality is the activation of your senses, right? And oftentimes sensuality is a precursor to sexuality when we're working with feminine embodiment. The practice is to really come back into the body and really be resensitized to our human experience, because as women, we like ecstasy is our birthright. Feeling ecstatic waves of pleasure and interconnectedness with all of life is our birthright as as being in female bodies, right? And a lot of the times what holds us back from this ecstasy is shame. So a lot of, we will be working with eradicating shame in this space, right? Whether that's been familially adopted, societally adopted, or your own, your own narratives that you're running in your mind, some of which you might not even be aware of. There are so many ways that we as women hold our expression and our self back. Like it's almost like, I talk to my clients about this, and I've had this experience in my past. It's almost like choking on your essence. So much of you that wants to come through as this multidimensional being, right? This portal between realms. And so to be able to unlock these parts of you and to like dissolve shame, to allow that to come through in safe spaces with other women, is such medicine.
It
So
really is.
yeah.
So some reasons why this workshop would be amazing for you is it will help your relationships, your friendships to be able to speak up for your boundaries and balance in the two, also to be more your true authentic self. It'll help you boost your confidence, get that sexy back, be your authentic expression. It's going to be amazing community. So even just coming and getting to know some other like-minded women in the community, it's going to be in Venice. So it's a great, beautiful spot, sanctuary in Venice. Like, I'm so excited to host at this beautiful spot. It's indoor and outdoor. We have lots of space and there's limited spots. I cannot wait to reach the right people. Like, you never know who you're going to meet, what friendships or connections you're going to have. And so, yeah, I'm just really excited. And then last one is just really connecting to that feminine essence. Like, especially if you're a woman that's in her like go 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 to-do lists, priorities. Maybe you don't prioritize your fun or your joy or your pleasure, and you're always working and you feel like, oh, I can't because I have to work all the time. This might be for you. Sometimes that I can't or I don't want to do this, like the thing that's like you are pushing off the most is the thing you need the most.
Yes. And also knowing that when you fill yourself up on pleasure and on juice and on the fun and on like the feminine yum, and you're like in that space recharging with Shakti, you get so full on it. And you get to bring that into your work. You get to bring that into your partnership. You get to bring that into all the other areas of your life. So this is a space for you to recharge and to feel yummy in your body again. And then to bring that as your othering to the world.
Yes, it's so true. I am that person. Well, I was that person and I still struggle with it. Is like always do the to-do list first. Always get shit done. Always like put my pleasure and fun and joy on the back burner. And once I worked for myself, I realized that doing that killed business and killed productivity. And when I started prioritizing pleasure, prioritizing the things that make me happy and feel good, oh my goodness, I have the most productive days, the best connections, the the most sales on calls or showing up like today. So, I want to show you this. We want to like lead you on this journey. So even if it feels like a little resistant, I want you to feel that. And then if you're feeling that nudge, feeling that like, ooh, I'd love to do this, like maybe bookmark it or DM us or drop a heart below if you're interested, a black or white heart below, whichever one you're more excited to. And we'd love to chat with you.
Yeah. And also something that came through when you shared that, Tia, is like if there's something that if there's a place that you've been feeling stuck, or a place where you've been feeling really in your head, or like there's a manifestation in process that like feels like it's not coming to fruition, know that by getting out of the way and getting out of your head and getting into your body and feeling pleasure again in your body, right? Just like joy and like just feeling the sensational awareness of your body, it charges your magnetism. So it literally charges your magnetic field and allows opportunity and people and clients, like you just said, Tia, to come to you instead of you needing to constantly be on this hamster wheel or chasing something, right? The art of the feminine is to magnetize, is to attract, is to receive. So when we do practices like this, it's ultimately a prayer of receptivity and charging magnetism. And then I call these the flirts from the universe. They're able to find you, right? And like flirtation is such a vital part of being in your healthy femininity, right? And it's not flirtation for the sake of validation or anything that has to do with sex. It's the frequency of being in joy and being in a playful exchange with life and with, I mean, you can flirt with your glass of water, you can flirt with blades of grass and flowers, right? So just know that this is a space to come and charge that, and then to receive flirts that want you.
Yes. Oh, that was beautifully put. And I'm so excited for this duo. It's going to be so powerful. And if anybody has any questions, just letting you know, you can reach out to either of us. We will answer them. I am also going to say and hold my boundaries. I don't respond to like hays or guys sending me random stuff. So just prefacing that with like, yeah, like ask us a question. We are open to that. We'd love to be of service and to be helpful. And yeah, I'm really excited. The links are in our bio as well for more information. And I'm so juiced up, and I'm going to go prioritize pleasure right after this.
Same.
Maybe a dance party, maybe relaxing, maybe just chilling today because I'm not really feeling super productive today.
Yeah, I love that. Right before we got on our call, Tia was like, I'm gonna go have a little dance party and then jump on and I'll let you in. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. We get to dance and juice ourselves up, even if it's just like 30 seconds of a song.
Yep.
And yeah, that's a great reminder. I'm also gonna go prioritize pleasure because I haven't in a week.
Oh,
Well,
a week? Yes. Go do that. Let me know how it goes. And I hope you get refreshed and fill that
I'm
up.
like, I was just at a festival, but like, no, now it's time for intentional prioritization. Okay, I love you. I hope you can join us.
Yes. Bye bye, everybody.